The extremely powerful executive Sean Diddy Combs has had an ominous presence in the music industry for the past 30 years. From his suspicious involvement in the demise of Tupac and Biggie, his secretive ritualistic parties in the backrooms, as well as numerous accidental confessions.
Real quick. Y'all think Diddy's guilty? You think Diddy did it? You think Diddy really is the black Jeffrey Epstein? Y'all really think so? I don't know. I think things are about to get weird over the next couple months. The more things that come out in regards to the situation and more things that come out onto who was involved and even the blackmail that Diddy has, I think it's going to get crazy.
Has made the public pre-decide that he is guilty of all accusations against him. Not only have multiple women filed formal lawsuits alleging him of violent sexual assault and humiliation, but now the federal government raided his home as they investigate his involvement in a global sex trafficking operation. Technically at the moment he is not being charged of any crime, but any day now Diddy could feel the wrath of the American justice system. Today we are going to unearth the secrets he never wanted the world to know with the goal of determining one thing: did he do it or not?
Did he do it?
It's very important to understand Diddy's potential involvement in the murders of Tupac and Biggie, because if you believe those allegations to be true, everything that happens afterwards makes total sense. In the mid-90s, Diddy, also known as Sean Puffy Combs, was in the
young Puff right there. Young Puffy.
Middle of the infamous East Coast vs West Coast hip-hop rivalry. It all began with East Coast rapper and Bad Boy Records signee, the Notorious B.I.G.
Bro, this music video hit so hard, bro.
His enemy, West Coast rapper and Death Row Records signee Tupac Shakur, and it ended with both of them being assassinated via drive-by shootings. Biggie's murder remains unsolved to this day, but in 2023 we learned that Keefe D was the shot caller for the group of individuals that killed Tupac. Although we do not know the specific details as to why these two rap legends were killed, through all the theories, key information, and first-hand recollections from friends and witnesses of both murders indicate that Sean Combs had involvement in both murders. Biggie and Tupac were friendly and actually respected each other at first. Tupac had begun rapping in 1991 and within 2 years already had earned a platinum album. Biggie was a crack dealer who recorded freestyles for fun, until someone sent his tapes to Puffy, who signed him to Bad Boy Records for $25,000. Puffy
$25,000. Yo, $25,000. Even if it was back then in the early 90s, bro. $25,000 is not a lot to send your career over to. That is crazy.
He was also able to use his status in the music industry to connect Big and Pac. Pac became a mentor to Biggie. He once even asked him to be his manager.
I was there, nigga. I trained the nigga. Used to be under me like my lieutenant. The nigga, I used to come to New York. I used to do shows and let the nigga come on before I did Keep Your Head Up and Get Around. Because nobody knew the nigga in New York. And I used to tell the nigga, yo, if you want to make your money, you gotta rap for the bitches. Do not rap for the niggas. I told the nigga, don't rap for the niggas. Rap for the bitches. The bitches will buy your records and the niggas want what the bitches want. So all of a sudden he changed from being listen to party and bullshit. Listen to his style. He changed from that to Big Papa.
Pac believes that Biggie used him as a blueprint, changed his whole style, persona, and music to be more aligned with Tupac. Many people speculated that Diddy also had a slight obsession with Tupac. He started
Listen to his style. He changed from that to Big Papa.
Pac believes that Biggie used him as a blueprint, changed his whole style, persona.
Bro, this sweater is drippy, bro. I'd wear something like that if I could find it. That sweater is drippy.
And music to be more aligned with Tupac. Many people speculated that Diddy also had a slight obsession with Tupac. He started dripping himself in Versace after Tupac did it first. He also got romantically involved in women after Tupac had ran through them first.
God dang. Getting hand-me-downs out here. Hand-me-downs.
Like Sarah Chapman, who ran around with Tupac in the 90s and is now the mother of one of Diddy's children. Pac's claims aged like fine wine when recently the internet figured out that Biggie's most successful hit, Juicy, was actually stolen by a Mississippi-based artist called Notorious B.I., who released a song called Big Daddy a year before Juicy that sounds exactly the same.
That is, wow. Wow. You know, steal like an artist. That's a thing. I mean, nowadays, everyone steals everything, bro. Everyone steals everything, bro. If it's working for someone else, why not apply it to yourself? That's all I gotta say. I mean, it is what it is. Everyone steals everything. Every artist steals, samples. It's just what comes with the territory of being an artist, man.
Is it a coincidence that Notorious B1 and Notorious B.I.G. are very similar, and this song is called Big Daddy, and Biggie started going by Big Papa? But many people believe this was the mastermind of Diddy, as he was a music industry expert who knew how to scout talent and assess a hit song before anyone else heard it. They believe Puffy instructed his artists to steal from Notorious B1, and Biggie trusted his boss and mentor. Pac and Big's rivalry began as a music-based competition: who had more music sales, who had the better fashion, media representation, and cultural influence. But due to gangster rap creeping into the mainstream and the two being surrounded by legitimate gangsters, tensions escalated to life-threatening conflict. In November 1994, Tupac was on his way to record some music at Quad Studios in New York City. Coincidentally, Biggie was there recording with Junior Mafia, which was a group of 4 friends that Big knew since their childhood. Puffy was there too, since Big was his artist, and any—
Bro, I mean, Biggie, all I gotta say, this photo, bro. Biggie was wearing those glasses for a reason, man. He wore those sunglasses inside, outside, nighttime, daytime, whenever he could. Biggie was wearing sunglasses, and this is an example of why Biggie was wearing those goddamn sunglasses. That's crazy, bro. I can't tell if Biggie is looking at the control board or if Biggie's looking at the dude that's whispering in his ear. Goddamn.
Anything that Big writes or records is technically owned by the Bad Boy label. Allegedly, a man by the name of Jimmy Henchman, who is now serving life in prison, was planning a robbery on Tupac since Pac owed him some money. Many speculate that Jimmy told Puffy what was about to happen, but Puffy did not try to stop it. When Pac was outside the studio, he looked up and realized rapper Lil Cease, who is best friends with Biggie, was yelling at him from above. He was excited to see him because they were friends. He told him he was going to go downstairs and meet him in the lobby. Pac got to the lobby downstairs when some men attempted to rob him at gunpoint, which quickly led to conflict and Pac being shot 5 times.
In the middle of that trial, Shakur was gunned down, shot 5 times in what he claimed was a murder attempt and police called a robbery.
As the police did their investigation, you can see Diddy looking around scanning the area with his head down. Keep in mind that after Tupac was shot, he got in the elevator and went upstairs where dozens of Bad Boy affiliates were located. Pac was interviewed by Vibe magazine detailing the night he was shot and the energy of the people around him while he was bleeding out. Because Andre Harrell was there, Puffy was there, Biggie, nobody approached me. I noticed that nobody would look at me. Andre Harrell wouldn't look at me. I had been going to dinner with him the last few days. Puffy was standing back too. I knew Puffy. He knew how much stuff I had done for Biggie before he came out. Based on Tupac's words here, fans in the media believe that he was hinting that Biggie and Puffy might be behind the attack, which bothered Big and Puff since publicly at this point they were still friends.
Tupac article had me pissed off, you know what I'm saying? And the rumors that's spreading is on some tip like we set him up, you know what I'm saying? And that's crazy.
Again, Biggie got the sunglasses inside. That's for a reason, bro. You know, rest in peace. But goddamn, that eye game is crazy.
It's just ridiculous, you know what I'm saying? But I also understand that if you was to get shot 5 times, mine is just completely spinning, you know what I'm saying? You're real confused about your situation. So it'll cause you to say things that you really don't mean.
To make things worse, a few months later, Pac was found guilty of sexual assault and would end up serving 9 months in prison. This gave him tons of time to think and reevaluate his life. To add insult to injury, Biggie released his iconic cutthroat track called Who Shot Ya, which felt like an obvious diss towards Tupac. But technically, it was recorded before Pac got shot, but it was marketed and released months after the incident. Regardless, the media developed the narrative that Big and Puffy set up the shooting and now released a diss record bragging about their hit, and Puff's full intentions were to stir up drama, as can be confirmed by the former president of Bad Boy Records.
Biggie might not have thought that when he wrote the lyrics that was going to be used for that, but the way it was marketed by the company and released in the succession of things that were going on that we were dealing with on all the levels that we were dealing, that record did what it was supposed to do. And that's a perfect example of how my former business partner works and thinks.
Pac was sitting in jail.
Mastermind, man. It's all about marketing, bro. You can't be relevant without marketing. They just hopping on the opportunity, which is crazy, savage, but it is what it is. Humans by nature, we're savage. We like to think that we're all we're all fucking sunshine and rainbows, but that's not the case.
Already thinking that they set him up, and the release of this song was all the proof he needed. But this wasn't the only shooting that Puffy was involved in. It's also important to know that Tupac signed to Death Row Records while in prison after the label owner Suge Knight promised to use his money to get Pac released. As they were in the process of getting Pac out, Suge Knight and his best friend Jake Robles, aka Big Jake, were at the Platinum nightclub in Atlanta. Suge confronted Puffy at the club and was choking him. Puffy's bodyguard, Anthony Wolf Jones, steps in to defend him, and then things got out of hand. Next thing you know, shots are being fired and Suge's friend Big Jake was shot and killed. Whether or not Wolf shot Jake has never been confirmed, but Suge was holding Puffy responsible for the attack, which was enough to now ignite a feud between the two executives. Quick sidebar, recently fans...
Bro, I love it in the 90s, no one ever knows, like, murder, bro, the amount of unsolved cases, bro, the way technology was just so obsolete than what it is today. If you kill somebody today, you're not getting away with it. You're not getting away with it. I'm telling you right now, you're not getting away with it. It's the dumbest thing you could ever do. But in the 90s, shit, that shit was like a Wild Wild West, man. They let everything fly.
Fans have noticed that Puffy's firstborn biological son, Justin Combs, looks a lot like Wolf. How does your son look more like your best friend than you? Anyways, in October 1995, Tupac got out of prison and he wanted war.
I have no fear. I have only ambition, and I want mine, and I will do anything to protect and feed my family. And these niggas represent a threat.
Pac got out and immediately started taunting and scheming on Bad Boy Records as much as possible. In the days after his release from prison, he jumped into the studio to record his next album, All Eyes on Me, and he talked about the anticipated tracks.
Two of America's Most Wanted with me and Snoop. That's gonna be a humdinger, right? Shorty Wanna Be a Thug. That's gonna be a big one. And Wonder Why They Call You Bitch with Faith. That's gonna be a big one.
He mentions Faith, aka Faith Evans, who was married to Biggie for over a year at this point. Imagine your wife jumps in the studio with your biggest enemy 1 week after he gets out of jail. Pac was also seen with Faith Evans at Whitney Houston's album release party. The rumor is that Biggie cheated on Faith and that she was trying to get back at him by cheating with Pac. Pac also allegedly started messing around with Mary J. Blige, who was a close friend and business partner with Puffy. Then Death Row Records...
Yo, Pac was running through everybody in the 90s, bro. He was running through everyone. Got Will Smith's wife, got Biggie's wife, bro. The streets were not safe when Pac was about. Women loved this dude.
Held a Christmas party in 1995.
Yo, that's another thing, bro. Pac was bald, bro. Pac was bald. Now today, women, they talk about people being bald and whatnot, you know, all that stuff. Oh, but Pac was bald and he was tripping and falling on Punani, bro.
Where a close friend of Puffy, Mark Anthony Bell, was mercilessly beaten and forced to drink urine after refusing to give Suge Puffy's mother's address.
That's wild. Imagine drinking urine, somebody else's urine. That's wild, bro. I know there's a lot of hipsters today that be drinking urine, but that's not it. I don't care what anyone says. Take a vitamin, bro. Take a vitamin. They talk about like, oh, it has vitamins and shit like that. It's good for you, but bro, this is 2024. Just take a vitamin, bro. Take a biosoluble vitamin. Call it a day. Don't go be drinking piss.
Tupac and Death Row did not let off the gas. At the 1996 Soul Train Awards, Biggie won the award for Song of the Year, and Tupac won Best Rap Album of the Year. After Big got his award, he took some pictures backstage and then exited the venue because he had to go to the airport to catch a flight. And that's when Pac and Suge pulled up in a Hummer, taunting them.
While we was waiting for the car to pull up, Suge and Tupac pulled up in the Hummer, and Tupac was really loud, yelling West Side, cursing, yelling a bunch of stuff, and Suge came from the other side and was like trying to actually walk up to us saying he just want to talk to Big, like want to talk, but of course everybody got in front. It was a little yelling and arguing for a minute, but police and everybody got in front, kind of stopped everything.
Despite Biggie's gangster lyrics, he was really a chill dude who didn't want to beef with Pac. Remember, he looked up to him. He always thought they were friends, but as we are speculating, he seemed to be a pawn in a much bigger operation.
He knows you sent somebody to shoot him that first time. Is that true or false?
Why? No, it's false. Why would I do that?
Okay. Do you think he was just hyping a record, or you have no idea?
I don't know what was the problem. I wasn't inside his head at the time. I don't really know what's the reason for him doing what he did.
Tupac was a man on fire, a man who he believes was wrongfully convicted of a crime he didn't commit, was constantly being slandered by the media, and now feels was being disrespected by his biggest enemies, on top of being surrounded by real gangsters. He released a music video alongside Snoop Dogg called Two of America's Most Wanted, which featured a skit mocking Biggie and Puff.
Pop, please don't kill me. It was Buff's idea.
No, man.
I'm just a rapper, man. Please don't take me out the game.
Interesting that Tupac himself instructed the Biggie actor in the 90s to say it was Puff's idea, as if he knew the truth. Then Pac released one of the most abrasive and iconic diss tracks of all time, Hit 'Em Up. He starts off the song claiming he had sex with Biggie's wife and then directly calls Biggie, Puffy, and Junior Mafia all bitches, along with various other threats.
Yo, that outfit's crazy too, bro. I ain't gonna lie, 90s had drip, bro.
Biggie actor in the 90s to say it was Puff's idea, as if he knew the truth. Then Pac released one of the most abrasive and iconic diss tracks of all time, Hit 'Em Up. He starts off the song.
Bro, look at this outfit. Look at this outfit, dude. That shit is crazy. It's like a corset with like like overalls. I don't even know what the hell this thing is, but that shit is crazy, bro. I would wear that, bro. If someone wore that today, bro, I ain't gonna lie. That's it. I'd wear that. I'd wear that. I don't know what for, but I'd definitely rock that.
Claiming he had sex with Biggie's wife and then directly calls Biggie, Puffy, and Junior Mafia all bitches, along with various other threats. The pressure was on Bad Boy. Pac was not going to stop, and Puffy couldn't take the heat. Biggie's bodyguard, Gene Deal, recalls when Puff reached his tipping point.
He said, "I'm a businessman. I'm about making money, but something gotta change. I don't give a f if Pac gotta die, Big gotta die, or Suge Knight go to jail. Something's gotta change."
Gene was taken back. He wondered if Puff realized that he just said he didn't care if his own artist died. At the same time, he still wanted to play gangster games. As we all know, these gangster games only lead to two outcomes: death or jail, and Tupac would meet his fate on September 13th, 1996. Pac and the Death Row Squad were attending the Bruce Seldon vs. Mike Tyson boxing match in Las Vegas. Hyped up from the testosterone and the energy of the fight, Pac wanted some action. A Death Row associate pointed out Orlando Anderson to Pac, who was a Southside Crip gang member, a rival to the Pyru Blood set that was affiliated with Death Row Records. Pac went up to Orlando and punched him in the face. Then Death Row associates put a beating on the man. Later that night, Suge and Tupac were driving down East Flamingo Road to Club 662, when suddenly a white Cadillac pulled up beside them at a red light and opened fire on Tupac. He was hit 4 times, with the fatal shot piercing his lung. Just last year, Las Vegas police arrested a man called Dwayne Keefe D. Davis, who was a shot caller for the group of individuals that committed this crime, and he orchestrated the plan that was carried out. Ironically, Keefe D. has been confessing his involvement publicly on the internet for years. In 2008, he confessed that his nephew, Orlando Anderson, the man that Tupac punched earlier that night, was the one who actually pulled the trigger.
Keefe D. has now identified his own nephew as the murderer of Tupac Shakur.
Bolstering Keefe D's claim was an informant in 1997 who told investigators that Puffy had hired the Southside Crips to kill both Suge and Tupac, and that the Crip who was jumped at the MGM was in the group that had done the hit. This was exactly the same story that Keefe D told us a decade later.
Keefe also stated that Puffy offered them $1 million to kill Suge and Tupac.
What? $1 million? $1 million is not a lot of money, bro, to kill A-plus list celebrity, bro. Like, you're not getting, I don't know. Like I said, in the 90s, you could get away with a lot of stuff, but, bro, an A-plus list celebrity? I don't know. Good luck. Good luck.
We wanted $1 million. Yeah, he said, come on downstairs and talk to you. Oh.
He tells you, seriously, man, I need to get rid of these guys. I mean, he's looking at you in the eyes and he's like scared.
Yeah.
You tell him we'll do it for $1 million, and he's like, okay, I'll do it for $1 million.
Yeah.
He agrees. You shake on him or something like that.
It's nothing.
Who brought up the amount of $1 million?
He did.
Puffy did?
Yeah.
Okay. Was it you?
No, it wasn't me. I'll shit. $1 million, I'll take it. Yeah. Take it for 50.
When Diddy was asked about this confession, this was his response.
It was this documentary that claimed, which we know wasn't true.
Yeah, check this out. We don't talk about things that are nonsense. We don't even entertain nonsense, my brother. So we're not even going to go there with all due respect. But I appreciate you as a journalist asking. Thank you.
As you can imagine, Death Row was...
That was a great answer. Puffy knows what he's doing, bro. These guys know what they're doing.
likely seeking retaliation for the murder of Tupac. Everyone at Bad Boy Records knew they were not safe, but they were especially not safe in Southern California. An LA kingpin called Gene Deal, Diddy's bodyguard, and warned him that there was a hit placed on Biggie in LA.
This somebody did 26 years in the federal jail as a kingpin, brother. He called me to save Biggs' them life. Tell them niggas not to go nowhere. It's a hit on them. You get this information from a kingpin, brother. Chaz Williams.
Despite knowing all this information, in February of 1997, they headed out to Los Angeles to promote Biggie's new album, Life After Death. Puffy also wanted to record some of his album, No Way Out, in LA. Lil Cease, Biggie's best friend, claims that Big wanted to be in LA.
If he say go, we going. If he stay, we staying. Big wanted to stay. I always tell people that, yo, why everybody always go, why y'all was there so long, or why you didn't tell him to go home? He's the boss. We're here because of him. And if he feel like it's no threat and he wants to be here, it's our job to stand down with him.
Biggie was not taunting the West Coast. He genuinely loved being in LA. He received a lot of love from fans, promoters, radio DJs, despite being surrounded by his enemies. Instead of claiming to be the victor of his beef with Tupac, Biggie wanted to use his life to inspire change and squash the East Coast versus West Coast beef. The truth is, over the years, Puffy and Biggie had made so many enemies that they didn't really know.
Another drippy outfit, bro. Look at these outfits, bro. Drip. Drip, drip, drip. I wish, bro. I'd rock this. Big don't got his glasses on. He gotta put them on, though. Look at that.
Who was after them, but they overstayed their welcome in the City of Angels, and Big's demise came on March 9th, 1997. After presenting an award at the 1997 Soul Train Awards, the Bad Boy crew attended the after-party hosted by Vibe magazine at the Peterson Automotive Museum. Biggie left the party riding in the front passenger seat of a Chevrolet Suburban SUV with Puffy and other entourage members driving directly in front of them. As they stopped at the first red light, a dark-colored Chevrolet Impala pulled up alongside Biggie's SUV. An unknown assailant inside the Impala rolled down the window and fired multiple shots at Biggie's vehicle. Biggie was hit numerous times by gunfire, sustaining 4 gunshot wounds. One of the bullets struck him in the chest, causing severe internal injuries. He was immediately rushed to the Cedars-Sinai Medical Center, but pronounced dead at the hospital that night. Right. So what happened? Well, Puffy's business partner said that they had used up all their budget on security, so they couldn't hire extra security for this evening. Keefe D was also at this party and offered protection. Puff told him to stand down. Puff decided to ride in the separate car located in front of Biggie's. Then he gave his security guard, Gene Deal, very strange instructions rather than maximizing Big's protection.
I tried to ride on the side of the car. Puff said, yo, Gene, what you doing? I said, I'm riding on the side of the car. I'm gonna have my gun out. So he says to me, Gene, if you don't get in this car, you ain't gonna never work for Bad Boy ever again. I said, man, how the f you gonna try to tell me how to do my job? He said, Gene, we don't need that look. We don't need that look. Get in the car. As I go to get in.
God damn. That's weird. How coincident. What a coincidence, bro. Why would you tell your security to get out of the car, to not ride on the side of the car in his own car? That just doesn't make sense. It's just weird. It's weird. Why would what? I don't know. That's weird to me. What is he gonna do in your car? How's he gonna protect you?
In the car, this motherfucker reached down and let his seat all the way back. So now I gotta put my legs sideways. I'm like, yo, what the fuck is you doing? Say, you ready? He said, you ready? I said, Kenny, run the next 3 lights. Kenny said, for what? I said, motherfucker, run the next 3 lights, Kenny, or I'm gonna drive. Kenny just took off.
The first car ran the red lights, but the car behind them did not follow. They decided to stop at the red light. Lil Cease had his head hanging out the window trying to holler at some girls. Then out of nowhere, the shooting took place. According to an FBI agent, Phil Carson, who worked on the case for several years, Suge Knight hired Amir Muhammad to carry out the execution. However, the agent says that the original target was not Biggie. They were targeting Sean Puffy Combs. Gene also believes this story is the truth.
I believe it was meant for Puff. The people that tried to kill Puff that night, for whatever reason, because we had some beef with some Muslim cats in Soul Train too. For whatever reason, the people that's trying to kill Puff, Big became a casualty. of Puff shit.
When they rushed Big to the hospital, Lil Cease, who literally looked the shooter right in his face, gave a description to Gene. This is what he said.
Little Cease at the hospital, he said a Muslim shot Big. And I said to Paul, with the blue suit, white shirt, blue bow tie, he said, Gene, how you know? I said, that motherfucker walked up to Puff car first.
Lil Cease's description of the man matches up to what the FBI uncovered. All in all, to say that Puffy set up the murders of Pac and Biggie is not exactly accurate, but the origins of the beef and the escalation of the beef can most definitely be traced back to Puffy. Also, he definitely knew that danger was looming for Pac and Biggie and did not even come close to trying to prevent both of their deaths, because at the end of the day, Puff was the one who benefited most from them dying. Think about it from the perspective of Puffy the businessman. Tupac dies, that makes Biggie the winner. Biggie looks like the ultimate gangster who warned his enemy with a diss track and then got him killed. That helps feed into the persona and sell more records. Plus, with Tupac dead,
What'd you think? You really think Puff set his own mans up? You really think Puff set his own boy up? I don't know, man. I don't know. We only see such a small amount of Puff. I can't really gauge like the type of individual he is, and I'm sure even when I meet people who are on screen and then I meet them in real life, I'm like, oh, you're not the persona that you give off to be. So I don't even know the type of individual Puff really is. You know, I think people that are speaking in this interview though, obviously had close relationships with Puff. And they should be able to, you know, they have a good idea of the type of man Puff is, and if they throwing this dude under the bus, man, I don't know, man. Maybe Puffy might be a real savage, dude. Puffy might be the real savage of the 90s, man.
there is no more competition. Biggie's inspiration, his idol, the dude who he copied everything from, can no longer defend himself from the grave. Now, we know that Puff didn't exactly want Big to die, but he wasn't doing everything in his power to protect him. Additionally, Puff saw how much money Death Row was making after Tupac passed. Tupac Shakur sold 67,000 records in the week following his murder. 2 months after he died, they released The Don Killuminati, The 7-Day Theory, which Shakur recorded under the name Machiavelli. It debuted at #1 on the Billboard Hot 200 with first week sales of 664,000 and 250,000 the second week. To this day, Tupac has sold 75 million records, most of which came posthumously. Puffy owned all of Big's publishing. He allegedly purchased it from him for $200,000 years before he passed, which meant that everything he recorded or wrote for himself or other artists, Puff owned all of Biggie's percentage. Aside from the tens of millions of dollars in albums Big sold posthumously, he was also a prolific songwriter. He wrote all of Junior Mafia's album. He wrote for Lil' Kim. He wrote for Mace, Craig Mack. Also consider every single time he's been sampled over the years. Diddy has been making money off Biggie for more years than Biggie was alive. There were even suspicions that Biggie was aware of how much control Puffy had over his music and tried to sign over all his new music to his infant daughter, but passed away before he could get the business deals done. Biggie's mother, Valletta Wallace, has repeatedly expressed her distrust of Diddy. The truth is, Christopher accepted the illusion of a friend and mentor for about $25,000. That's the amount.
Bro, 25 grand, bro.
Puffy lured my
25 grand is nothing, dude. Think of this dude is literally a top 15 artist of all time. 25 grand. That's just crazy, bro. Jeez. That's just crazy.
My son with.
I realize that too in a lot of today's like rappers and musicians and stuff like that. The ones that are getting pushed the most, the ones that have the best
was a lot of money for Christopher.
The ones that are getting pushed the most, the ones that have the best marketing are ones that sign for small amounts and the record labels reap the most benefits off of their profit. Then they put more effort into like pushing them out, getting them seen, getting their shit sold and all that. 360 deals or whatever they call it.
Back then as a 19-year-old. She continued by saying that she was glad her son does not have to witness that the very people that he thought he could ride and die with wouldn't think twice about using his mother. She added, "I am glad that he is not here to see how they have used his image and his name." Diddy was filthy rich, extremely powerful, and evidently unpredictable. Imagine how easy it was to leverage his power in the music industry and his personal life. If you said no to him, in theory, he could blackball you, extort you, or maybe something more permanent. So consider that when we begin analyzing his history of suspicious behavior.
I got my MTV out. Savage! I'm a savage! Oh! I'm a savage! Whatever I want, I'm going to get! Whatever I want, I have to get!
Let's start with the mysterious Puffy's Flavor Camp, where Diddy would mentor teenage musicians like Usher and give them a taste of the music industry. R&B sensation Usher was nothing short of a child prodigy. By age 13, he had already been discovered in Atlanta by L.A. Reid, and they sent him to New York City to record his debut album with Diddy. In 1994, Usher was just 14 years old, and he moved into Diddy's house to be a part of his Flavor Camp.
I mean, but hey, it was curious. I got a chance to see some things.
Yeah, but you were 13. What were you seeing?
I went there to see the lifestyle.
Right.
And I saw it. And it was, but I don't know if I could indulge and understand what I was even looking at. It was pretty wild.
So nobody tried to, some woman didn't come along.
I didn't say that.
Okay.
I didn't say that. What I did say is that there were very curious things taking place. And I didn't necessarily understand it.
Usher has been very reluctant to discuss what happened when he lived with Diddy. In a 2004 article with Rolling Stone, he said, "Puff introduced me to a totally different set of shit. Sex, specifically. Sex is so hot in the industry, man. While he was in New York, he lived at Puffy's house in Scarsdale. There was always girls around. You'd open a door and see somebody doing it, or several people in a room having an orgy. You never knew what was going to happen. Some people look at this as nothing short of grooming a young boy. One time, Diddy himself detailed what living with Usher was like.
Back in the days when he was like 10 and I was a little bit older, his older brother, we used to fight over the Frosted Flakes. You know what I'm saying? Before pause was invented. You know what I'm saying? But it's my brother for real. We used to actually wrestle off of the Frosted Flakes because he used to always get up earlier than me. Now he's one of the richest stars in the world. And
what the f did Puff just say?
Even though Kevin Hart was...
That's hilarious, bro. That's hilarious. I love how everyone else in the room is just like nonchalant, didn't even acknowledge what just came out of Puff's mouth, bro. Talking about wrestling with a little boy that's not, not biologically his, over cereal. I mean, it doesn't, I don't know. It's like it can be taken in so many different contexts. Like, yeah, that's not that crazy, but like it's a little weird. It's a little weird, especially he's so I don't know. Maybe Puff just doesn't have like a social tact or something. He doesn't realize what he's saying or what. But he also did say before the pause, so who knows what the hell he really means by that? Because it's a little sussy.
Was just joking. He really was the only one that seemed to question what Diddy was talking about, but Usher looks kind of uncomfortable. And you'll notice a theme where Diddy is very comfortable touching other people, embracing them, calling them pet names, and almost always the other person's body language screams they do not like it.
Man, you doing it, man. You deserve it, daddy. You putting in that work.
But Usher is not the only artist in the industry who may have been a victim of Puffy's Flavor Camp. Justin Bieber was also mentored by Diddy early on in his career. Bieber, just after his 15th birthday, spent 48 hours with Diddy. Diddy gifted him a Lamborghini Gallardo and let the world know why him and the teenager were hanging out.
Where we hanging out and what we doing, we can't really disclose, but it's definitely a 15-year-old's dream. I don't have legal guardianship of him, but for the next 48 hours, he's with me. So, and we gonna go full crazy.
Combs seems to be acting strange, but Justin seems alright. At the time, he was still a young star, glamorized by the industry. 1 year later, his demeanor towards Diddy was much different.
What's up, man? You good? I'm good. How are you doing? Young brother, everything's good? Selling out arenas and everything? Starting to act different, huh? You ain't been calling me and hanging out the way we used to hang out.
Well, I mean, you try to get in contact with me, through all my, partners and whatnot. Mm-hmm. But you never really got my number, so.
Now, Combs is renowned for hosting lavish and star-studded parties that have become legendary in the entertainment industry. Diddy parties are famous for attracting A-list celebrities across all industries. I had the craziest mix, Combs told Oprah. Some of my boys from Harlem, Leonardo DiCaprio after he just finished Titanic, I had socialites there and relatives from down south. Diddy parties are typically hosted at luxury venues or his own private residences. The media were quick to anoint him the modern-day Gatsby Gatsby, a title he embraced with open arms. "Have I read The Great Gatsby?" he said to a reporter in 2001. "I am the Great Gatsby." However, many people forget that one of Diddy's first parties ever resulted in the deaths of 9 attendees. In 1991, 22-year-old Sean Combs was the promoter of the Heavy D's and Puff Daddy celebrity charity basketball game at City College's Nat Holman Gymnasium, the infamous Puffy Party where a stampede occurred, taking the lives of 9 people. Some of the hottest rappers in the game were set to attend.
I didn't even know about this. Did y'all know about this? Y'all know about this party? How many of you are actually even like around, alive, when this was taking place? Probably none of you, but it's all good.
To Men, Phife Dawg, Big Daddy Kane, Jodeci, even LL Cool J and Mike Tyson showed up. The crazy part is that fans could see all of their favorite stars for just $12. The first problem occurred with the tickets. Keep in mind, this is in '91, so people had to go to physical locations like the Apollo Theater box office to buy tickets. Tickets were also sold at local shops like Boss Emporium, and even free tickets were given out on the radio by Funkmaster Flex. The facility could only hold 2,730 people, but they had no idea how many tickets they sold, as no proper system was set in place to keep track. Despite this, Gene Deal recalls Puffy requesting to cut security presence in half.
This particular day, Puff calls me the day before we supposed to do the party and say, "Yo, Gene, I don't need y'all to do the security outside. I got the FOIs to do it." So I said, "Man, I just told 18 guys." He said, "I just need 8, I just need 8.
To clarify, the FOIs are Fruit of Islam members. One witness to the event said, "You cannot have an event like this in Harlem without those Muslims," said Oscar Davis, 32, of the Bronx. "Forget the police, they can't do nothing. The people in Harlem respect the Muslims." It was blatantly obvious that more people were outside than could actually fit in the gym. Despite the overcrowding, tickets were still being sold at the door, said Mario Salvaggi, a city police patrol chief. Fans entered through 2 side exits and funneled down the stairs, through the doors into the gymnasium. But once LL Cool J and Mike Tyson showed up, all hell broke loose. Mobs of people started swarming from outside to rush inside, pushing people forward towards the glass doors. The glass doors eventually were shut and needed to be pulled towards the crowd to be opened. Guards tried to instruct people to fall back, but they wouldn't listen. The pressure became so great that the glass doors shattered and people fell through them. Outsiders began stampeding and stomping over bodies to get inside the facility, but the problem just got worse as they needed to go down the stairs into the gym. The doors at the bottom of the stairs also needed to be pulled open towards the crowd, not pushed into the gym. So hundreds of people were squeezed up against these doors in this tiny stairwell with no way to escape. Also notice that these doors don't have any windows. So inside of the gym, people were having a great time. From the outside, you can hear them partying, playing music, and rappers shouting over the microphone. They didn't even know that just on the other side of those doors were people fighting for their lives. Eventually, they got the doors open. As much as 6 people were stacked on top of each other and began spilling onto the gym floor, finally relieving the pressure. People began trying to perform CPR on the ground. Someone announced over the microphone that 3 people died right there. This caused chaos, and the people inside the gym began trying to leave, stampeding back through the exact same stairwell where people were trapped in the first place. Police identified 5 men and 3 women dead at the scene, and 29 people were injured. A 9th victim died in the hospital days later. All of them died from asphyxiation. 8 families of the deceased settled wrongful death lawsuits against Mr. Combs in early 1998. Mr. Combs ended up paying around $600,000 of a total $3 million or so. Now, clearly, this wasn't all Diddy's fault. Legally, the courts claim the city 50% responsible and the promoters 50% responsible. Regardless, death and dark energy seemed to lure around Diddy since his earliest days. From there, he kinda stopped throwing parties for the public and started to keep them private. However, over the years, disturbing rumors have spread regarding what happens during Diddy's parties, ranging from group sex rituals to casting couches where newcomers would secure their future in various
Casting
industries.
couches. What the hell? Casting couches, bro. That's that Pornhub. It's the Cornhub stuff, man. Cornhub, man. Jeez, casting couches, bro. That's wild.
Biggest rumor is that aspiring male talent would need to pleasure other powerful men to advance their careers, and apparently it's an open secret in the music industry, which is why Shannon Sharpe erupted in laughter when Cat Williams said,
Because P. Diddy be wanting to party. And you gotta tell him no. You got to tell him no. I did. I did.
Now, Diddy has 6 biological children with 3 different women. He has had multiple high-profile relationships with the likes of Jennifer Lopez, Naomi Campbell, and Cassie. But you will notice that most of the party stories that circulate involve him being surrounded by men. Josh Ostrovsky, who goes by The Fat Jewish on social media, detailed his strange experience at a Diddy party.
I'm on ecstasy and I'm trying to find the bathroom and I can't find the bathroom and I get lost. So I open a door and in that room there are a bunch of men laying about and, you know, kind of like very like kind of leaning on each other. Not like if you were spooning but facing each other and like leaning up on your elbow and talking.
Like it would almost be the prelude to an orgy.
Yes. Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
Oh my God. Oh my God. It was so prelude to an orgy. And who is lounging in my direct eye line? Puff Daddy and Felix the House Cat, famed house music producer.
Yeah, no, I know who that is.
Basically spooning each other. And they're drinking a glass of Hennessy. And they're like sharing it. They're like passing it back and forth.
And everyone's talking.
And everyone's just like talking.
Yeah.
And then as soon as I see them, I'm like...
All men, though. There's not one woman in this room.
All men. And they're all 100% on ecstasy.
Shortly after Josh and Diddy locked eyes, he was kicked out. Josh, who is a gay man, immediately felt like he was in a room full of other gay men. But there was no real accusation nor damning evidence here. It could have just been a group of guys chillin'. So let's take a listen to rapper Exhibit recounting his experience partying with Diddy.
Florida, we got invited to a Puffy party, the New Year's Eve party. He invited us to the house because he wanted to go to the club after. Puffy calls me outside. He's like, "Hey man, that girl you know about?" He's like, "You know that's the devil, man." You know what I'm saying? I was like, "What you mean that's the devil?" So we get into the truck. He said, "Let's go to this club." You know, we sitting there bobbing to the music, and then she point over the corner. It's 2 dudes kissing. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, the f is this? And then she point another direction. It's another dude over there like butt ass naked dancing. You know what I'm saying? We take off, man.
Based on X's story, it seems like Diddy brought him to a gay club. Or maybe coincidentally, Exhibit just looked at the only 2 gay couples in a regular club. 50 Cent also recalls one of the first times he met Diddy.
We gotta kick it. This is Puff. Okay. He telling me we gotta kick it and shit. And he was like, "Yo, why don't we like go shopping or some shit?" I mean, like I pay for it. And I was like, "What the fuck this nigga just said?" It's a fruit pie. Trust me.
Now, there is no doubt that homophobia has been prevalent in hip-hop forever. However, some people are just simply not gay, and Diddy's actions make them feel uncomfortable. Like rappers Fabulous and Jadakiss, who were pressed by Diddy on a podcast that got really awkward really quickly. He began by repeatedly calling the host Nori Daddy.
Mr. Lee,
yeah, I love this drink.
Where you put my bag?
I like when you like this, Daddy.
Yeah, where you put my bag?
Daddy, I like
Mr.
when
Lee?
you
It's right
scrambling
here,
and scraping for shit.
No, I got
like
notes
that.
Shit. You know, I've been practicing.
Then he proceeded to ask Fabulous why he didn't want to party with him.
See where I look
miss
back on
me?
where I became.
Did you miss me though? For real? Because
you miss me?
I mean, it seems like a thing.
I
with
miss
this
partying
birthday
with
party,
Puff, man. I
Man,
miss
but I'm
partying
talking about
with
for your birthday.
Huh?
Why won't you party with me for your birthday, man?
We partied for my birthday before. You came to my party.
No, but me and you ain't never really party, you know what I'm saying?
Jadakiss kept his head looking straight down for almost the entire interview, and you could tell Fabulous was very uneasy about Diddy's presence. When Diddy was confronted about it, this was his response.
When you scrambling and scraping for shit.
That was you.
Scrambling.
What? You said, I like when you do it like that, Daddy. When you scrambling and scraping for shit.
Hey, man.
Hey, man. Hey, man. It is what it is. That's what he's saying. It is what it is. Whatever, man.
Nah. I mean, I was
you don't go back and look at that stuff and laugh?
All the main is it puts pressure on people in interviews, man. Look at his face. Look at look at Charlamagne's face right now. Yo, he said, what's... He's waiting for the response. He's like, explain. You can't explain this. You can't explain this, Puff. Can't explain it. There's no way out.
It could be funny. I don't really be on it like that. Yeah.
It seems like he genuinely has no idea why people thought what he said was weird.
He says things, he doesn't even know what he's saying is like fruity. You know what I'm saying? Like, he says something fabulous and he goes, yo, but me and you, we ain't party. Like, we need to party. What is you talking about? What is you talking about?
Incense has gone off.
When people say that to me, I get a little uncomfortable.
But even with all the jokes, rumors, and secrets, nobody ever formally spoke out against Diddy and accused him of assault or abuse until 2019, when his ex-girlfriend Gina Huynh spoke publicly about what it's like to be in a relationship with him. Keep in mind that Gina was a side girlfriend for Diddy. The public didn't know about her because his public relationship was with Cassie Ventura, who he had been on and off dating for a decade.
He had caught me texting another man. We were in his closet and he like pushed me and I fell to the ground. He like stood over me. He avoided my face, but he like started punching me like on the side of my head and I was just like covering my face. He like stomped on my stomach, like took the wind out of my breath. I couldn't breathe, pleading to him like, can you stop? And
see, that's the thing,
like
she might just be petty at the fact she was a side chick. She might just be petty at the fact she was a side chick. She might be trying to get her little 5 minutes of fame and get back at Puffy. But I don't know. I don't really trust a lot that comes out of a lot of like side pieces' mouths. If they've dated a man, they're no longer with him, blah blah blah. Like sometimes I feel like people just be latching on for some relevancy, and I just don't think, I don't know. Her words don't hold much weight to me.
Stopped for a little bit. He like grabbed my hair from the back and like was like punching the back of my head.
She also claims that she was pregnant with his child in 2014.
You mind telling me what happened with that pregnancy?
He was like, you're gonna get an abortion, right? I was like, I don't know yet. And then he offered me $50,000 to get rid of it, but I turned it down because I just loved him.
Gina did not take the money, but she also did not have the child. 4 years later, she got pregnant again. Gina goes on to detail multiple other instances of emotional and physical abuse, but she never filed any formal charges. It wasn't all the way until November of 2023 that someone finally filed a formal lawsuit against Diddy. After that, the floodgates were opened, and Sean Combs' dark past crept out of the shadows. In the lawsuit, Cassie Ventura, his longtime girlfriend, accused Mr. Combs of repeated physical abuse over about a decade. As you can imagine, this lawsuit and these allegations went extremely viral. After all these years of shady rumors, weird behavior, and dark secrets, the entire world was prepared for Diddy's decline. Ventura and Combs met in 2005 when she was 19 and he was 37. He heard a song she was marketing called Me and You. He then contacted Ryan Leslie, who wrote Cassie's first single, and paired Bad Boy Records with Leslie's Next Selection imprint for the release of Cassie's debut album. In August 2006, Cassie released her self-titled album under Bad Boy Records. The pair formed a close relationship through working together for several months as Cassie became the face of Diddy's fashion label, Sean John. In 2007, Diddy separated from his longtime partner Kim Porter and started dating Cassie. Cassie alleged that Combs controlled nearly every aspect of her life, from her career to having access to her personal medical records. She claims he was frequently violent, physically abusing her multiple times a year, and that he often plied her with copious amounts of drugs, which made videos like this one seem awfully suspicious, where Cassie seems to be hiding from Diddy.
What you gotta say now? What you gotta say now? You ain't got shit to say. When you put your girl on the snap, baby, yo, babe. I mean, shit getting weird. Come on, baby, it's hot outside. You fucking wrapped up in that.
It's getting weird. That's hilarious.
The court papers assert
she could just be playing, bro. I don't know. I want to see what transpires from all this, man. She could just be playing around. Cause if you look, Diddy wasn't even really with it. He said, "It's just getting weird, man. Cut it out." Like, I don't know. I'm not trying to defend him, but I'm also gonna look at it from a neutral place. And I know, like, I've had situations, people playing. Eventually, you're just like, okay, that's cool. You playing cute, whatever. But cut it out. Let's go do something. Which is that's all I got from that video. But that's just me.
That others who worked with Mr. Combs helped him control Ms. Ventura, like suppressing her music if she did not obey his orders, or by helping to conceal his behavior. But it wasn't just mentally controlling. He also often got physically violent with her. In one incident in Los Angeles in 2009, the suit says that Mr. Combs became enraged when he saw Ms. Ventura talking to another talent agent, then pushed her into a car and kicked her repeatedly in the face, making her bleed. The suit also details Diddy's request for Cassie to engage in his newest sexual sexual fantasy called voyeurism. Combs forced Ventura to have sex with male sex workers in different cities, encounters she claimed he watched, pleasured himself to, and recorded. This is the allegation that likely opened up a federal investigation into him sex trafficking people. According to the suit, Mr. Combs called these encounters freak-offs, which involved costumes, like masquerade masks and lingerie. The lawsuit continues to detail some of the most horrific, embarrassing, and torturous behavior Diddy allegedly committed. Combs' lawyer, Benjamin Braffman, responded to the lawsuit on behalf of him. Mr. Combs vehemently denies these offensive and outrageous allegations. For the past 6 months, Mr. Combs has been subjected to Ms. Ventura's persistent demand of $30 million, under the threat of writing a damaging book about their relationship. Despite them denying everything, the lawsuit was settled just 24 hours after it was made public. We don't know how much, but due to the severity of the charges, the public assumed that Diddy coughed up tens of millions of dollars to keep her quiet. And while Combs likely believed that he escaped Cassie's lawsuit unscathed, a woman named Liza Gardner filed a lawsuit on November 23rd. Gardner claimed that she and a friend met Combs and singer-songwriter Aaron Hall at an MCA Records event in either 1990 or 1992. They returned to Hall's apartment for an after-party where she was offered more drinks and was coerced into having sex with Combs, who assaulted both her and her friend. In another complaint filed the same day, Joy Dickerson Neal alleged that in 1991...
Coerced into having sex with them. All right, let's be real. Like, as a man, you go and you pursue women. You pursue women. You seduce them. You pursue them. You like it's just a form of nature. That's just how things go. Animals, they go do the fucking birds do their little fucking dance for women. Like, men are all like the male species is always trying to impress women, to be able to sleep with them, to be able to mate with them. Like, coerce women into having sex with them. That's kind of like men do that on a daily basis. Like, I don't think that's that big of a deal. Like, interesting wording, but I feel like men are always trying to sleep with women. Like, it's up to the woman to say no if she's not interested. You know, I don't care. Oh, you guys can play victim and say you don't. But then here's the thing, right? If you want to play victim and say that, oh, he took advantage of me, or oh, he did this, he did that, he did this. Well, if that's the case, then how can you argue the fact that women are good leaders if they can be so easily swayed and so easy manipulated and so easy taken advantage of? You know what I mean? Like, let's play that card, because at the end of the day, you have the ability to say no. You have the ability to walk away. You have the ability to do all those types of things. You have the ability to not even put yourself in that situation to begin with. So therefore, if it happens, that's also, you have to take ownership of that, and you have to be the one to be acknowledging the fact that it takes two to have sex. You know what I'm saying? Don't get me wrong, rape exists and things of that sort, but just don't put yourself in those situations to begin with. I don't care what anyone says. Like, you know, you can get the vibe. You can get, if you have any type of social tact, you know whether or not what's going to happen, if it's a good place, bad place, good person, bad person, or what's trying to happen or transpire. You can tell by actions. I don't know if women are oblivious to that or what's going on, but I don't think that's justifiable to play victim all the time.
She reluctantly went on a date with Combs, who intentionally drugged and sexually assaulted her after their dinner. Diddy denied the allegations through a spokesperson who claimed that the women's claims were fabricated and accused them of exploiting the Adult Survivors Act. The New York's Adult Survivors Act temporarily eliminated the civil statute of limitations for survivors of sexual assault, which gave them the right to file a lawsuit against the perpetrator regardless of how long ago it occurred. Then another woman came out. Jane Doe alleged that Combs, his longtime Lieutenant Harve Pierre, and a third unidentified assailant gang-raped her when she was 17 at Combs' Manhattan recording studio in 2003. Pierre, who previously served as president of Combs Bad Boy Entertainment, had also been sued by a former assistant, who alleges he used his position of authority as plaintiff's boss to groom, exploit, and sexually assault her several times between 2016 and 2017. The lawsuit further claimed that men trafficked Doe across state lines from Detroit to New York City on a private jet, supplied the teenager with drugs and alcohol until she couldn't consent, and then violently assaulted her. The complaint also included several photos that Doe alleges were taken at the studio that night, including one where she is sitting on Combs' lap. Enough is enough, Diddy said on Instagram. For the last couple of weeks, I have sat silently and watched people try to assassinate my character, destroy my reputation and my legacy. I did not do any of the awful things being alleged. I will fight for my name, my family, and for the truth. But it wasn't just women accusing him. In February of 2024, Combs' former producer and videographer, Rodney Lil Rod Jones, filed a federal lawsuit against Combs, alleging Combs sexually harassed, drugged, and threatened him. According to the lawsuit, Rodney Lil Rod Jones lived with Combs between September 2022 and November 2023, during which he worked on Diddy's most recent album, the Love Album, Off the Grid. As Combs' videographer, Jones allegedly secured hours of footage and audio recordings of Combs engaging in illegal activity. The activity the suit alleges includes acquiring drugs, soliciting sex workers, providing laced drinks to minors, and sexual assault. Jones alleges that he was the victim of constant unsolicited and unauthorized groping and touching of his anus by Mr. Combs. Mr. Jones was forced by Mr. Combs to work in Mr. Combs' bathroom as Mr. Combs walked around naked and showered in a clear glass enclosure. In the lawsuit, Jones also alleges that Young Miami, who is Diddy's most recent girlfriend, was among those who were paid a monthly fee by Diddy to work as his sex workers. Jones believed Diddy was grooming him with the goal of passing him off to others. While on a yacht in January of 2023, Jones alleges he was introduced to Oscar-winning actor Cuba Gooding Jr., who proceeded to grope and fondle him until being forcibly pushed away. Jones claimed that Diddy, who had dominion and control over Gooding Jr., failed to step in. Also in Jones's lawsuit, an unnamed rapper is mentioned as having been on Diddy's yacht, where they were allegedly seen consorting with underage girls and sex workers. This rapper is described as a Philadelphia rapper who dated Nicki Minaj. Rapper Meek Mill is from Philadelphia and dated Nicki Minaj from 2014 to 2016. That same unnamed rapper, also an unnamed R&B singer, and producer Stevie J allegedly engaged in sexual intercourse with Diddy. This allegation has people looking at that clip of Meek Mill in the pool with Diddy calling him daddy more suspiciously. Also, 50 Cent made some jokes about Diddy and Stevie J on Instagram, to which Stevie J responded with not denying the allegations, but challenging 50 Cent to a boxing match.
However it go, I want you to fade, nigga. Fuck all that. Since it's entertainment, let me beat the shit out of you on TV or something. Don't duck that. I'm calling you out. What you want to do, Curtis?
But the most shocking allegation made in the lawsuit was Mr. Jones discovered that Mr. Combs has hidden cameras in every room of his homes, and that Diddy was secretly recording artists and powerful executives, like Lucien Grange, who was mentioned in the lawsuit, who may or may not have participated in the freak-offs. If this turns out to be true, we might see some of the most powerful people in the entertainment industry get exposed. And 50 Cent wants to be a part of the expose. He said on Instagram, shaking my head, "This is gonna be so good. What you wanna bet I'm gonna get these tapes? I'll pay top dollar for them. You been over there? I don't go to Puffy's parties." However, it seems as though Sean Combs' reign of terror may be over. On March 25th, 2024, Homeland Security agents and other law enforcement officers raided Diddy's homes in Los Angeles and Miami due to a possible ongoing sex trafficking investigation. Homeland Security expert Hal Kempfer added some insight that the evidence they're looking for includes laptops, flash drives, and anything that would connect Combs with the allegations. As of right now, we don't know what they found, and technically the feds never formally announced what they were looking for or why they were there. But it's safe to assume, based on the allegations, conveniently, Diddy was not even in the United States during the time of the raid. According to TMZ, Combs' private jet was spotted on the ground in Antigua, in the Caribbean, shortly after news of the raids broke. Many people believe he is fleeing the country, and today it seems like Diddy is spiraling. He just posted on social media trying to see who in the industry is on his side.
Hey, yo, right now though, for real, yo, I need to know who with me, you know? Like, just straight up, like I don't have the time. If you with me, let it be known. If you don't with me, be quiet.
And just in case you wanted some more twisted allegations and insane conspiracy theories, take a look at the founders of Uptown Records, the people who gave Diddy his very first job in the music industry. Andre Harrell, dead at age 59. Heavy D, dead at age 44. Kim Porter, dead at age 47. And Al B. Sure, who was just in a coma for 2 months and almost lost his life. Al B. Sure is also the father of Diddy's oldest adopted son. Al B. had a child with Kim Porter before she left him, married Diddy, and had children with him. Al B. has recently been trying to reach out to his oldest son, hoping that he will leave Diddy and come back home, and when he got out of his coma, he strongly insinuated that Diddy was the reason behind it.
We are going to be producing the Al B. Sure life story. So hold on to your britches, and you'll really understand how I ended up in a coma. You're really going to need to call Homeland Security.
Now, why would Diddy want the people who got him into the music industry in the first place to all be dead? I don't know. Your guess is as good as mine. But it
Interesting.
seems like almost everyone around Sean Combs for his whole career either dies, disappears from relevance, or speaks out against his devilish ways. Yet nothing bad ever seems to happen to him. He just seems to get more successful and rich. Is it a coincidence? Maybe. But for now, we will just have to see how this all plays out.
dude.
Based on everything you have learned in this video,
Puffy. Sean John Combs, Mr. Love. I still am gonna wait on the hard facts. I'm gonna wait on the gray space narrative that I've just witnessed, because that's all I think it is, just gray space narrative. I mean, yeah, it's not the best behaviors. Don't get me wrong by any means, nor is it acceptable. But the reality is people do far worse things than what has been stated, and we don't know if what their statements are actually valid or true. So until we get a video is shown, I'm gonna stay in the middle ground and try to figure out, because anyone can say anything. That's just the facts. That's just how it is. When you got fame, you got money, you're no longer messing with people. People get spiteful. People get hurt. People get offended. When you move on to something better, people get jealous. That's just how we are. It's crabs in a barrel out here, man. And until footage is shown of Diddy doing something bad, I'm gonna just play that middle ground.